Hey people, I had a new revelation, and I'm going to teach y'all some witchcraft and magic and what this is here. I heard many places, to read the Bible, you start in Revelations. And so, I've been studying the ancient Hebrew and the Greek compared to it, just so I could learn enough this Greek to study the Revelation. And so this Revelation, this awake all ups, this new revelation here is teaching how to read the punctuation. And you can see this here when he says, and he said, is the hyphen. E-Y-P-E-N. E-I-P-E-N. E-I-P is hype. And so, this is hype. It means they tell us it means to accent that letter. And you'll see it turns different ways here. And so this is spelled different. And so this is the hype in, E-N is as in B-N, the hype in G, the foot of the graphite tie. And so you'll see this hyphen spelled different ways. You see it comes in the category of leggy, as in alleged. But sometimes it's just the hypa. The hype on, A-N means sky, means above. That's the hyphen above. And so they changed the meaning of our punctuation. They changed the meaning of hyphen. Hyphen used to mean, and God said, hyphen. And so hyphens were quotation marks. It depends on where you put the hyphen. But this was all hype. You have hype on top, above, hype on, A-N, and you have hype in the foot, hype in the foot. So you have to read what's around that to understand what this actually means. Now, it doesn't always mean, and he said, only when it's the hyphen on each side of the word, quotation marks. So I had a memory come up on my Facebook that I had posted 3 years ago. And with my newfound knowledge of all this hype, I thought I would come back and read it again. And what this says is the mason, from son and mason, the stock in the store. My son, from son and mason. This is M-S-O-N and M-S-O-N-E. From son and mason, the call from son, and then with this hype in, tells me to read this backwards and forwards. The meal, that's why they said this is bread, this is backwards, M-H-L. The meal has, to call son, the meal has, to call from son me miss. Oh, I missed the call from my son. I missed my meal. And so I wanted to look more into this word, mason, see what it's associated with. So I clicked on it. And it has several different spellings. It even has one called Masanti. Masanti. That's where your word saint comes from. Masanti, from saint. From Saint Nicholas. From Santa Claus. O-N-T-I. S-O-N-T-I. My staff. My staff is my saints. But if you look over here in the Greek, this word for my staff is the bacterian. Your staph infection maybe. The bacterian. So you have to check all these Bibles. You can't trust one. And so this opened my mind up, to this, what they say is word. And it's to yammer. But, vav, yod, to make the knowledge from first. So, in the Greek, to make the knowledge from first is the hyphen. But no, it had a different meaning before, and we can see it in the Hebrew spelling. To make the knowledge from first, to make a word, was first the Akkadians, and that's all they did was they wrote with a whole bunch of hyphens. Just connected hyphens. You make the knowledge from the connected hyphens. And so the language of the Akkadians was called Akkad, and still is today. You know, I get these emails every day from Academia. Try to say it's academia. Ooh, congratulations on being talked about in 361 papers, including one by an astronomy researcher. And so I don't know who's talking to me. I'm not paying them to see who's talking about me. But this is the academia. Akkad, the first language, Akkad, and then Mia, the one. But in other movie, I figured out that didn't necessarily mean one, but it meant the one on top of the pyramid, the high one, Mia. So on to this Mason symbol. What kind of magic is going on here? You know, it says Annuit Coptes Novice Ordo Seclorum, and they'll try to tell us what that means, but this is Annuit, you know, on, above, knew it. The heavens knew it, you know, and it means Anu, the annual's a new day, to knew it, but it also means astrology, the heavens knew it. And then the Coptes. And so you see this Coptes, C-O, this is a O-E, this is a diphthong. And this O-E diphthong, they'll try to tell you it depended on what it sounded like. But no, all that writing is what it looks like, not what it sounds like. And people are trying to pronounce words of ancient language, they don't have a clue. But this O-E comes from the runic letter Odal. And this means nothing except the royal family. You know, inherited estate. Nobility. And so the rest of this word, Coptus, you know, we see that the nobility stabbed in there. But a Coptes, an Egyptian who is a descendant of Egypt's ancient inhabitants, a member of the Coptic Church. Copt, the Coptes is plural, the Coptes. And it's where your word helicopter comes from, you know, the ones that hover above, the Coptes. Annuit, you know, to make anew. The heaven knew it. The Coptes, the ones hovering above, the ancient Egyptian rulers, O-E, you know, the inherited estate, O-E, the Coptes. Novice Ordo Seclorum. You know, novice is pretty easy. Everybody knows a novice is to begin the order of seclorum. And so they'll try to tell us that this seclorum does not mean secular, but is a genitive plural of seculum, which is a second declension of saculum, which is a race, breed, generation, or a lifetime. And so they're trying to force that generation on there, an age, a time. You know, in the time, you know, a novice, to begin the order of a new time. But this race or breed is closer, you know, like a seculum, as in secular. You know, that's the first clue, is when they say what it doesn't mean, as in secluded. You know, and a aurum is us, to secluded us. So they try to get these interpretations from where they can find them in ancient writings, and he found it in the Vulgate, in the Latin Vulgate. It's in the oar, in its mouth. But it came to him in the evening, carrying a green-leaved olive branch in its mouth, the oar. And so M on the final would be plural, aurum, in the mouths, in the secluded mouths. The mouths meaning the heads of control. Annuit, to make anew of the Coptes, you know, the ancient Egyptian rulers that begin the order seclorum, segregated mouths. Want to be on top of the period, the pyramid, the Mia on top, the Mia, and the 6 tiers underneath, as in Ussa and Mia. This V is a V, a W, or a U. It's now us, Ordo Seclorum. So magic, stage magic is illusion, is card tricks. But magic with a K is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. Magic with a K is to bend light. And so light is knowledge, and they've got the knowledge all twisted up, and I'm bending it back straight is what I'm doing. So let me read y'all this one line about from Santi's, my staff. This is one in the Greek where they say the staff is the bacterian. So their interpretation on this is, and he said to Gehazi, get ready yourself and take my staff in your hand and be on your way. If you meet anyone, not do greet him. And if greets you anyone, not do answer him, but lay my staff on the face of the child. Wow. So this reads in Old English. It says to yammer, to make the knowledge from first. Leg itches eager. Leg itches eager. That means the left foot forward, to divide the foot first. And so when somebody's ready to fight, when you meet them, they're going to have their left foot out because they're not sure about it, And if somebody's friendly, they're going to have their right foot forward when they reach out to shake your hand. And so, and said, the leg itches eager. He's got his left foot forward. Mightn't Jack, M-T-N-J-K, Jack, to steal. Mightn't Jack and fuck, to run you through with the sword. And said, the leg itches eager, mightn't Jack and fuck. From saint. This is saint. You could tell because they put this I on the end where it's an I. And most of the time, when there's an I on the end of a word, they'll put an E in there, but they didn't want to throw it off here. But you can see the ancient spelling of saint, S-A-I-N-T-E, and with an E, Santi, Santa Claus. And said, the leg itches eager, mightn't Jack and fuck from saint. By hand give alike, give at some times, backwards and forwards after this tack, A-X, the X is T-S, to give at some, A-T-S-M, at some, T-M-X-A, times. The hand to give alike, give it some times. And C starts with A, it reads backwards, to seal. To seal at, in reckon to, in reckon. That's when you sit back and think and add things up, dead reckoning, to figure out, which direction things are going, which direction the wind's going, and which direction the water's going, to reckon to where that ship is at, And to let in reckon to, and give kick, revive, backwards and forwards after this tack, K key, and to give kick, revive, R-V-I-V, reviver, to give kick, reviver, rock, give seal it unto, and smite from saint, all in place, backwards, forwards, all in ping, ping is the place, a position, all in place, the knower. And so the knower doesn't mean child. Give it some time to reckon, think about it, and give a kick or revive, and the rock to seal it onto, and smite from Santi, all in the place, the knower. The knower means older. Everybody that's older than him, you're kicking all of them's ass, not the child. If you have two kids, One of them's 15 and one of them's 16. The 16-year-old is the knower. Mer du Nord. The grand, the great Mer du. Ocean to the north. To the north, that higher. Alright, I got a bunch of good stuff. I get so much stuff. I learn so much stuff so quick. I can't even get to it all. I find something better every time. But I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.